Hello and welcome back to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast. It is April 26th. It is Monday. Soccer's being played. We can talk about that, but we have to talk mostly about the Cuppity Cup that just happened. City won, Spurs 0, fans in the stadium. We have to talk about what that means for Spurs, where City's going, and just in general, where the league's at right now. We had some big results, but we're not going to focus too much on the league. Let's focus on our Douchico. Mike, how did it feel?
Oh, it felt like watching a paper cut happen. It was a nightmare. For those that didn't watch, which I would not begrudge you, because it is the least important trophy, and it wasn't even the most important game that day.
You wanted it. You wanted it. Don't go back. Don't go back now.
No. I wanted it.
Wanted it on Thursday. You were ready.
I wanted it, and I am bummed out that we didn't get it. And now I'm fine. Like, it's okay. Whereas like the Champions League final, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just lick the third rail today. Maybe I'll just end it all.
Yeah, but that
hurt. That was real pain.
Yeah, but that was
good. First of all, we had no business being on field. No business being on the same field as City the entire match.
No.
Ryan Mason did try something and it didn't work. And I respect that.
Agreed.
Jamie Carragher, I don't know if you saw him kind of break it down. He was phenomenal in basically laying blame on the players, specifically Aurier and Harry Winks. And I hate banging on Harry Winks. I really do, because I love him.
He never played the ball forward, or he didn't see the passes.
Yeah. So he was afraid.
Yeah.
Right. And
he hasn't played. Like, why would he all of a sudden be able to play and have syncing up with other players when there was nothing to sync up with? Right?
What I'll say from a tactical perspective, and Ryan Mason can do no wrong in my eyes, but I think that game was screaming for Ndombele, right? Like, there was a lot of trouble in the midfield. City were just bossing it. They played narrow to force City outside, which is basically how you beat them, right? So there was smatterings of a good strategy. The players just weren't up to it. And having Ndombele not in the middle of the field, that would have been that key lock.
You feel like that power that Ndombele could have like broke through and took off.
Exactly. If Ndombele comes back to where Winks had received the ball a few times and he looks up and he goes, "Oh, I have 15 yards, and then I'm going to get pressed. I'm just going to run, and it's going to create options." So, yeah, I mean, it was an unfortunate 90 minutes to watch. I think the expected goals was like City was like right around like 3, and they should have had a few.
Yeah.
Spurs were okay. I don't know if you saw this. Spurs were 0.04 expected goals. They had
the thing is, that's not that. How is that possible? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
They had only 2 shots. That's
what I'm saying. If you watch that game, you go, yeah, that's about right.
Right, but the save by Stefan was a real save.
That was a really good save on Lo Celso.
Now, from an expected goals perspective, you don't expect that goal to go in, but that was a really, really good save, and you were really that close from being up 1-0.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was at halftime. My goodness. Let me put this game into perspective. At halftime, now I'd had a few beverages. I tried to live bet on this game because I was like, that could not have gone any worse. And we have not gotten a goal against us. If we're sitting there at halftime, I'm like, I kind of like my odds right now, right?
Yeah, so sure. Yeah.
This game was so unimportant. This cup matters so little that I couldn't find it to bet on it. Okay. That's how how much this matters or doesn't matter.
Yeah. I hear you. I understand.
No, I wanted it. And
I'll give you the City perspective. I thought, as I was watching, I saw the lineup. I was like, KDB's there. That's good. Foden's there. That's good. I loved Fernandinho in because I just liked the fight, even though he's a step slow. Laporte and Diaz was who City were intending. John Stones was just a surprise. So that's who we wanted as our center backs. And then when we play Walker and Cancelo, I know that we're really playing a back 3.
That's true.
And I also know that Kyle Walker stops if he stops any really hardcore breakaways because he literally just runs in front of people and the break never happens. Right. So when you go back and you look at the Spurs games that have played well, either Walker gets turned around or the defensive pairing is weird. Mm-hmm. So the early games, the ones where City gets blown out, somewhere Walker isn't with the right. But when it's Diaz, Walker, and Laporte or Stones, City don't give up shit. And like, I know you were saying how Son didn't have a great game. I saw the runs that he makes that are normally problematic. I saw the runs that he takes it down, he spins someone around. This time, either Diaz got there first and you felt like, oh, we just lost the ball. But it was what didn't happen, right? It was the right ball was played. Nobody got in behind. Mm-hmm. Diaz was there. Walker was there. When Son did bring it down, he was converged upon. There were 3 guys. The shape was there. So it looked like Spurs just never had the ball. That's my cat. He's on the show. Sydney, hello. And so I noticed those things. And then I was really scared. I was like, oh my God, Spurs. First half, I was good. But then I was worried. The Foden chance was really good. When that near post cross, which he would have put in. That's like an Aguero goal. I was like, oh, I wish we had a fucking striker. But then I thought, we don't have a striker. It's fine. Raheem's at the 9. I think, like, if you think about Dyer and Alderweireld, I actually give them credit. They stayed where they were supposed to go. They were like, I don't know who to mark, but I'm standing here.
They each made one goal-saving tackle in the first 40 minutes or so.
Right, that's the other one, Foden, where Alderweireld blocked the Foden shot.
Yeah, a couple of different big blocks. They kept Spurs basically on the operating table, right?
And Lloris had a couple good saves. There were some opportunities that Mahrez got into in shooting position when you're like, those extra 3 touches, you're like,
So I'm screaming. And everybody in England knows this. Reguilon certainly knows it. He gives him 7 to 8. One fucking time. He had 7 to 8 feet of space.
Like,
that's more than enough. That's more than enough to take 2 steps on your left inside and try to curl it. Like, what are we doing here, Sergio?
Yeah. And I wouldn't have been surprised had this score been 2 or 3-0. It would have been.
No.
But at the break, Spurs were okay. And I did notice the change, right? You guys really tried to play out from the back. And City did something I've never seen. They weren't just playing 2 up top. They were playing 4 up top. They played 4 across the front. They let Lloris, Alderweireld, and Dyer have the ball. And if it moved anywhere, they were on
them. Yeah.
And I don't think Winks or Højbjerg had the nous to kind of like figure out ways around it. Because Højbjerg is a battering
It's not one-man
Højbjerg
job.
wants to come get the ball and go, right? Yeah, it needed Kane. It needed everybody to come deep to try and work.
Well, no. That's the thing is that, like, and that's why I kept bringing up Ndombele, right? Like, if Højbjerg has somebody to work with in that role, he's serviceable, and the other person is carrying the mail.
He also fucked up. He should have shot when he tried to pass it to fucking Reguilon and really yelled at him.
Yeah, I know. But he just in their own final third, he was working with Winksy, and it wasn't coming off at all.
Yeah,
right?
They weren't connected.
The Sissoko change. He was at fault for the goal. It's his man. He just.
But I mean,
I don't know what it is.
The goal was the goal. Like it wasn't at.
Yeah,
like,
but
I hate when every set piece can't be somebody's fault. Right? It just
this one can, because if you look at the fucking replay,
but the ball was good.
Dyer's got his man. Alderweireld's got his man. It was a good ball, sure, but Sissoko is barking orders to everybody,
and he got under
without taking his man.
Yeah,
buddy. Yeah. How about we start at home, right? Yeah. And so the
Bale change didn't do anything.
Laporte.
Yeah. The Bale change.
The Bale change didn't do anything, but that's you kind of knew it wouldn't, unless we started like. You're not going to change the game with Gareth Bale, behind midfield, right? You got to be attacking and having control of the ball and possession for a while.
The one I knew, once Højbjerg came off, it was over, because he was holding he's been holding the team together all season.
Yeah,
he's the only guy who makes that defense function. And once Højbjerg was gone, I guess it was the 75th minute or something, I was like, oh, it's way over. Like, you could tell everything just opened up. You're like, oh my God, Spurs are in trouble.
Wasn't pleasant. Yeah.
But I mean, so City again are not mechanical. They don't inspire romance. Is that the right word? There's nothing romantic about City winning. It's simply It's Pep.
Yeah.
He's a genius. It's technical. We can appreciate it. It's surgical. We like what they do, but it's a very difficult team to love, for lack of a better word. I love them. It's my team, but there's not even a flawed kind of weirdo, right?
Right.
We've got to like Phil Foden. He's a young kid. He's 20 years old. He's about to have his second kid, and he likes to go fishing. Like,
okay,
dude, can
Phil
you just
Foden.
like do some lines, bang some hookers, like do something? Well, this team, like the team doesn't do anything. It's very chill.
Here's the thing about Phil Foden. He's 20 years old. He has 4 League Cup winners medals. Tottenham in their history don't have 4 League Cup winners medals. He's 20 years old.
Yeah, he's good. And he'll be there the way things are going, provided nothing goes wrong. He'll just be there as long as he wants to be, right? He'll just be the old head who'll be like, I played under Pep. It wasn't like this. You know, he'll complain.
Yeah.
There'll be that. But I mean, the one good thing was like, the thing that was interesting was the after game. The City players really were excited about it. I thought it was great.
They should be. It's a fucking trophy.
Yeah, but some players don't care, right? Like some teams are like, Aguero was like on the periphery, like in his little jacket, holding a little trophy. It was kind of sad. The fans were there, which made a difference. It was great to hear.
That's so important to me.
The Spurs thing.
I was
set it up right.
Yeah, they did. I was going to go to the bar and I was going to have like a good time, or whatever. I came home because I wanted to have full control of the volume and I wanted to hear the Spurs supporters, all 4,000 of them. I want to hear them sing. And it was really, really good, right? We got it one time. It was Spurs Arsenal, actually.
Yeah.
But this is only the second time in over a year now that we've gotten supporters in the stands, and we've gotten to hear it. And
it's good.
More important than ever now, right? With everything that had been going on. But it was cool that in spite of all that, like there was some bullshit before the game and whatever. And we could talk about that in a minute. But, it was just nice to it felt like we had football back for the first time in a very long time. So
yeah. And I will say that Kane, second half, you guys were better. Kane dropped deep. You could see a sort of like hobbled version of winning Spurs happening, right? Where Kane is deep, but there was nobody beyond him. There was no one to give him the ball to, and he was compromised. He just wasn't right. Like there were chances.
No, he wasn't 100%, but like
there were times that he would have shot and he didn't shoot. Like something was wrong with him.
I don't think there are that many of them, but
there weren't many. But I mean, this is a guy who averages 4.5 shots a game. Like he didn't.
No, I know. I don't think he was in a shooting position once. Maybe one time from 30 yards. Yeah. Which again, he turns and fires without looking.
But this becomes a referendum. Like I think, our city, we've got PSG. That's our big game. We're going to win the league. United dropped a draw to Leeds, which makes me so fucking happy. God, Leeds are fucking incredible. They're undefeated in their last 5. They're so good. They're literally the most even team. They're 14-5-14, 50 goals for, 50 goals against. They're goddamn gold. I love them.
Yeah. And they're almost exactly mid-table. They're a point off of exactly
mid-table. Take that for data. You fucking. Yeah. So they're there. So City just have basically like win the league next weekend with a win against Crystal Palace and a loss.
But that's not the focus. Liverpool. And we'll talk about
Champions League.
We'll talk about the City focus in a second, right after this.
Hey guys, this is Sturch from the Chop Sports Podcast, and today I want to address something near and dear to my heart, and that's mental health awareness. More specifically, Joe Pizzamenti with Attitude of Gratitude Consulting. His consulting company can help you in so many ways, including an innovative way to lower your monthly bills. And guess what? If you lower my monthly bills, my mental health state is going through the roof. There's so much to learn about Joe and Attitude of Gratitude Consulting. Visit the website right now, www.attitudeofgratitudeconsulting.com. Hey guys, Sturch here from the Chop Sports Podcast, and I want to tell you a little bit about Sunflower Meadow Seasoning. First of all, a guy my size likes flavor on his food, and there's nobody other than Jess that I go to for that. Her flavors range from French onion, BLT, Cajun country, so much more. They got dip blends, season shakers, smoothie mixes. Not even kidding, I've added some of their smoothie mixes to my post-workout protein shakes, and my goodness, what a difference. Get on over to sunflowermeadowseasoning.com for their entire list of products. Tell them Chop Sports sent you.
It's really solidifying. Chelsea beating West Ham was big. Another drab kind of like Chelsea get it done. Stupid red card. I think we talked about this already. Leicester won today. So the top 4 is looking pretty clear. And Liverpool.
Wait, I want to go back. I want to go back to the Chelsea West Ham match for a second. Because that red card was absolutely fucking asinine. Did you see it?
It was bullshit.
It was nonsense. And so here we are again with VAR. Stop me if you've heard this before. But it's just okay. And I think Lee Dixon. Jesus Christ Almighty.
Lee Dixon on the guy who looks like Elmer Fudd.
Yes. Yeah.
And he might be the worst ref in the league. He's the double whistle.
That's it. Right. Yes. So Lee Dixon on the broadcast, and he's absolutely right. And you know how hard it is for me to agree with this man, but it's a follow through of a kick, right? And so it comes down on the player. It's completely coincidental. It is not malicious at all. And so the problem is not the initial foul. The problem is that you watched it 35 times in slow motion. I feel like
it looked bad. In slow motion, it looks terrible.
Exactly. Everything does. What if that's the answer to VAR? What if you have to watch it at regular speed? You can watch whatever angle you want.
Just get rid of it.
No, I know, because they're not going to, though. Right?
Just get rid of it. What is it for? What is its purpose? Why is it there? Why do we need it? What does it do?
No, I know.
They're fucking doing the championship. Teams are coming to the Premier League from a division lower that doesn't have VAR. Somehow that's fine. If you're going to fucking have integrity and people freak out about fucking Super League, well, fucking there's no VAR in the division below. Half the FA Cup doesn't have VAR. Shut the fuck up. Get rid of it. How about that?
I'm with you. No, I'm with you 100%. I just don't think it's
crazy.
going to happen.
I can't deal with it.
I don't think it's going to happen. And we've
if
seen
I
it
lost
in
the
big
league
games,
because of
we've seen it in big
VAR, I'm
spots.
sure I'd be livid. Oh, I have a good story that makes me really happy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ryan Giggs is been indicted for beating 2 women. This is the same man who banged his brother's sister. So couldn't happen to a nicer guy. He lost his job for Wales. He's the all-time leading scorer, everything for the Premier League. He played 22 straight years. He's beloved. And now everyone can find out what a fucking scumbag he is. Anyway, Ryan Giggs, you're not going to make the Hall of Fame now, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that's my anecdote.
I love it. That's going to be our Instagram clip right there. You're not going to make the Hall of Fame now, motherfucker. There wasn't a whole lot of storyline. Although Everton, Arsenal made me smile earlier on Friday last week because they had a big Kroenke out protest and
then they
whole charade. And so their keeper, who we've spent a lot of time in this podcast saying that their backup technically last year, Emi Martinez, who's now with Aston Villa, significantly better.
One point behind Arsenal. Just to
correct. Correct. With the game in hand. And so they sell Emi Martinez to Aston Villa. They leave Bert Leno in the spot.
After 10 years at the club,
right,
and loaning him 8 straight years. Like, you want to talk about treating a guy like shit, and even though he didn't leave, and then he comes, he wins you the fucking FA Cup, he saves Arteta's job, essentially, and then you fuck him. You shiv him. You kick him in the leg without VAR. And now, and then the fucking wonderful Bernd Leno, who I don't understand why he's considered a good keeper. But, you know, what do I know? I'm an American who doesn't know anything. He loses them the game, basically.
Yep. Own goal in the 75th or so minute. Everton go on 1-0.
Yeah. And
with
Everton,
all the fans protesting outside.
Which is great. Yeah. I just think that, I'm sure if you talk to an Arsenal fan, they'll tell you the team does not function without certain players. It's broken. They're so bad that they have to have Kieran Tierney or they lose. They have to have Emil Smith-Rowe. They have to have Saka. Those 3 players are average age 21 years old. Without their young players, Arsenal are awful, right? They can't create anything unless they have their guys. They did the classic. They doubled down on the same mistake they made before by taking Aubameyang and signing him when they shouldn't have. Classic contract year. And now they're stuck with him. They won't be able to get rid of him. They'll just have Aubameyang and his weird hair, a captain who is like a a jovial, smiley guy when what Arsenal need is to have
a Højbjerg.
They need they need Højbjerg to be the engine of their team, right? And I think they thought that Xhaka was that, but he's not good, right?
Oh, he's a psycho.
Well, he has the same personality without the skill. Like
yeah, and he's got a harder edge too, right? Like
he just gets foolish. Run past. Like he fouls people because he can't keep up with them. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas Højbjerg is, if you go through any defensive metric, he's number one. Oddly, he and Conte are the two best, and they look opposite. So it shows how cool soccer is. The smallest guy in the league and the biggest, roughest Viking helmet wearing player in the league both do the same job, equally awesome.
Yep. No, that's true.
Which is incredible. Mike, so we've got 5 games to go. The season's winding down. I think the big question is, what happens to Harry Kane? I think that is going to be the conversation around the league.
That was going to be
what's going to happen to Spurs.
So that was going to be the conversation regardless of what happened on Sunday, right? I don't have an answer. I know the answer I want. And here's the thing. You're going to have to sell a name brand, right? Because of a few reasons. One, they may want to leave.
Yeah. That's the number one reason. Yeah.
Two, right. Exactly. Two, exactly that. Spurs lost a tremendous amount of money. And if they have any ambitions whatsoever, there was a rumor that part of the Mourinho sacking was that they disagreed on summer transfer plans. Surprise. Yep. Like at this point, I'm that's on Jose for like being like, all right, you know how if a girl is in a relationship with a guy and he does all these shitty things and she's like, oh, I can change him though. It's gonna be great. You can't. Okay.
No.
He's worthless.
Yeah. No.
But that's what a manager coming in probably thinks about Levy, right? Oh no, it'll be different now. No, it won't. You didn't get Ruben Diaz.
The Nagelsmann story, by the way, your savior, he is agreed to terms with Bayern. Yep. And now it's about negotiating. Yeah, I mean, but it seemed like there was a moment. So who do you want to be the manager? You want Mason to just go through the Spurs in 15th place season without Kane?
So that's the question, right? Like, are we burning it down? Are we tearing it all down? Or are we going to try and stagnate and give a go at Europa League or something, right? And that's genuinely, I don't know. I don't know what Levy has planned, and that changes the answer, right? Because I don't want somebody to come in. I also don't want to put this on Ryan Mason, right? But like, I don't know. And my answer would be you sell Heung-min Son for as much as you can. I've said that on the show before, as a sacrifice to keep Kane.
Yeah.
Because
and then I think it's going to be a buyer's market. Like there's going to be like the economic problems of the top teams are multiplied by every team in the league everywhere. Right. So
I mean, like the other teams have it worse.
The other teams, but in the first division, in Europe, in Belgium, in France, in Germany, all the teams are having problems, right? They just went through an entire season without fans, without hot dog sales, without hookers on the side, without cocaine being sold to players. None of that happened. You know, it's all gone. So what I'm thinking is like, I'm
pretty sure Jack Grealish found some cocaine on the side somewhere.
Over the course of last year. He definitely did. So you might not get the 150 million you were thinking of for Kane. You might get 80, but that 80 can get deals for other players everywhere, right?
The problem is that
there's just players going to be out there.
Okay, here's the difference between Tottenham and Chelsea and United and City. Very, very simply, when Spurs spend money, they can't miss. Chelsea, City, United, they can all afford to miss. They can't afford to have Giovanni Lo Celso be a $40 million hole. They can't afford to have Davinson Sanchez be a $40 million hole. These guys all have to be Bruno Fernandes when they come in, which is so fucking ironic. But because he was supposed to be going to Spurs, but you can't miss, right? And so when you get
defenders, let me tell you about defenders. It's really hard to get them right.
No, I understand. But when you tell me I'm going to get 80 million for Kane, I almost throw up because I go, we're going to blow that on 3 guys who are meh.
Right.
And you're going to sell the best player
ever,
arguably having the best season in the Premier League's history this year.
Yeah.
You're going to sell him for what's effectively going to turn into 3 shitheads.
I think they shouldn't sell him
Eric
unless he wants to leave. Like, unless he really wants to leave. You play hardball. You sell him on, you are a fucking legend. You're bigger than Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer won 1 fucking trophy with Blackburn early in his career. And yeah, that made something for him. But he's known because he's fucking Newcastle and he played with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And you can become the all-time leader in goals for Spurs. You can become a symbol of England, basically what he is. He's blonde-haired, white guy playing in London. That is like, he's basically James Bond at this point. And he can stay there at Spurs and have like the noble pain. Like every fan of every team respects him. Every fan knows he plays hard. Every fan knows he plays hurt. No Spurs fan would begrudge him to leave.
No,
right?
I would drive him to the airport at this point and give him a big old hug.
But is it going to mean anything, right? Is it going to mean anything? The 1 trophy at Spurs with Harry Kane in 3 years or 2 years will mean so much more than winning the league and a cup at City. Or
even if it's the Carabao Cup. So
that's the sell, right? That's the sell.
But you're not
right.
In order to have those point of views, right? You have to have a vision of competing for the Premier League title, because
they're not winning the Premier League title. They're not better than fucking Leicester.
I know that they're not, but what I'm saying is that you can't pitch me on a Carabao Cup run, maybe.
No.
You can't pitch me on an FA Cup run, maybe. You have to pitch me on a team that can win every competition they're in. Not going to, not should be, not favored, can hang with every team in that competition.
Yeah, that's what Pep
That's
says
a hard sell.
We need to be there at the end, and not necessarily win, just be there. Yeah, you just want to be
around it.
8 points back, 5 games to go. Can we get this done? Right? Or we're in the semifinals. Bounce of a ball here, that's where you want to be. The thing is like, do you want to go? Where do you want to go? You want to stay in England, right? You want to have that record, or, but what team is going to buy him? I don't know. Like,
it would be United.
It's United, right? It
would be United.
Yeah. That's the only one that makes sense. It makes sense for them from a brand perspective. Like, they will sell Harry Kane shirts till tomorrow, right? They'll have that striker. They'll have that focal point. They'll have Europa. They'll have Champions League. They'll, like United as currently constituted with Kane is a contender. Like they could, that makes up 8 points.
Yep.
Right. That's pushing City. That's making Liverpool scared, who are I think Liverpool are actually in really bad shape. I think Van Dijk's not enough, by the way, but that's a whole nother show. They're right next to Spurs, right? They're right there.
They are.
So yeah, I mean, Kane goes to United. He puts on the red shirt. They do the thing, and but who would you take from United? Like, that means that there's going to be dominoes, right? Like, does that mean you're ending up with Martial?
Finally, 5 years later.
Yeah, it's all dominoes, right? Like, the league, like, we can really start thinking about it, right? I think Chelsea are with Tuchel all year, good, really good. City are going to have to go again. It's not going to be easy without a striker. I think it depends what City do. They never or very rarely sign players over 25 years old when they come to the team. Like, if you look at all the good players on City, they may be 30 now, but when they got them, they were not 30.
They were 25, 26. Yeah.
Not even younger. Most. Except the early days, like they did buy Yaya at 26. They did buy Silva at 24, right? The guys were already there, but not lately. I think they'll try and go again and be like, Ferran Torres, we bought him for a reason. He's going to be there, and we're going to slowly phase Riyad Mahrez out. And this is year 2, and that'll happen. Oh, Raheem Sterling, he's been there a long time. We're going to, go through it with Bernardo, who's a little bit young. they do need to find a replacement for Aguero. It's not Jesus. Never was, never will be, never could be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where the league is right now. And we're really just running out the string. It kind of sucks. City are going to be champions. Top 4 looks pretty tight. I think it's the questions of what's going to happen, how you finish is going to matter. I'm sure there's, as they say in England, a sting in the tail left for some team to try and kick on. But who is it going to be? Is it going to be?
The thing is that the gulf is wide, right? Like Leicester's come on more than, and they had a big win today. Leicester's come on more than I expected them to, because I expected
Iheanacho went nuts, right?
He went crazy, man.
Vardy disappeared, and Iheanacho said, "I got this."
Yeah. So it's very surprising form from him, and it's stayed, and it's kind of sustained Leicester, right? I think that they're probably one win away from being safe in the top 4, which means Chelsea's the only team out, and you're not catching Chelsea. West Ham had their shot and they just blew it.
They didn't. I don't think they blew it. They got hurt. Like,
yeah,
teams like these smaller teams, when you lose Declan Rice and you replace him with Mark Noble, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's true.
God love Mark Noble, but he's been playing in the midfield for West Ham since 2005. Right? Like he had hair at one point.
Wait, this is the weekly. It's time to go, Mark Noble.
Yeah,
it's time to go.
Yeah, it's time to go. I mean, he is Mr. West Ham. You know, every team has a mascot, and he is it.
Yeah.
But you know, he's only playing because he's old and available. But you know, that's where things are. And then our friends at the bottom of the table, my buddies in Brighton, seem to have started the vacation, but thankfully, you know, there's no trouble down there. Newcastle, who I predicted were dead, are the fucking Undertaker in the form of Maximum, just put him on his back. They beat Liverpool by scoring a last-minute goal twice, one chalked off for more bullshit VAR. And then they just gave up the same goal all over again, which was incredible. Right. And then, you know, this is what happens at the end of the season. A lot of more interesting races are in the other countries. La Liga's a 3-point league with 4 teams.
Ligue 1.
France is a 3-point league with 4 teams. Yep. And you know, in the UK, we're all done and dusted, as they say. Squeaky Bum Time ended early, and
they would never showed up this year in England, but in the Champions League. We'll talk about that in a second.
Hey guys, this is Sturch from Chop Sports, and I want to talk to you about a new hobby of mine, and that's real estate. Ever since we brought on our resident realtor here at Chop Sports, that's all I can think about. So we got another one. You know who's really good at this stuff? Jay Devlin of CRG Homes. Jay is out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and business is booming. Whether you're looking to relocate, buy, rent, or literally purchase property and watch your stacks get higher, Jay is the guy to do this for you. He's already in the process of helping me out right now on a possible summer home. Call Jay right now, 843-315-5913, and have yourself a chat and learn about all the perks, and tell him Chop Sports sent you. You know, as I get older, I tend to appreciate different things. One thing I love now more than I ever have in the past is some unique furniture. Not just any furniture, unique custom furniture made by Battle Rattle Woodworks. He's specializing in charcuterie boards for all those parties you're about to host when this weather gets a little nicer. Even better, if you enter the code CHOP15 at checkout, you're going to get 15% off your entire purchase. Massive savings on some unique American-made stuff. Help support your local veteran right now and visit him on social media at Battle Rattle Woodworks.
So in the Champions League, we've got a couple of big games. Big
well,
games.
This is the time of the year, right? This is it. It's all big boys. It's all big boys all the time, yeah.
We're down to the 4. So let's talk about Chelsea Madrid first. And by the way, going back real quick, if Chelsea were to stumble, it's because of the Champions League and it's because of the FA Cup, right? Yeah. So I won't say never, but it doesn't look great. But nonetheless, on to Champions League. The plucky Real Madrid team that they're facing tomorrow at 3 p.m. By the time you're listening to this game, will probably be on right now. So turn on your TVs. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I don't have a lot out of this one. I don't think
heart
there's going to be
of a fucking champion. Heart of a champion. Listen, they stumbled on the weekend. They still have a hard time scoring on a regular basis, or having fluid games. Like they're still relying on the old guard. It's still Kroos. It's still Modric. It's still Benzema. It's still Ramos. But they play as a unit. And the fact of the matter is, as much as I probably thought it and it seemed that way, Zinedine Zidane's a good coach. He's still Zizou. He's still a fucking legend. Like, he walks in there and it's like, my coach is Zinedine Zidane. It's not a joke.
Right.
He won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. They did the right thing in losing Ronaldo, because Ronaldo's pretty washed as a super duper level star. And
you got 100 million for him.
Genius. And Real, and they did blow it on Hazard. Hazard is back. I don't know what level of fatness he's at, but
wouldn't that be poetry if Eden Hazard
beat Chelsea? He could. Chelsea. It's in him. It's still there.
I forgot about that storyline. That could be a fun one.
Yeah, I think squad wise, Chelsea's probably better, frankly.
Yeah, I think so, especially with Tuchel at the helm.
But Real Madrid, man, the fucking heart of a champion. They've been there. They've done it. They're old. They're grizzled. They can beat. They only need, when you really think about it, right? These old teams, they kind of know. They're like, I need 15 minutes each half.
Right.
Where we play. All the other time, we can rest with the ball. We can hang in there. But against these teams that are like pressing and doing all this shit, they're like, you know what? You fucking do what you want. I'm Luka Modric. You come after me. I'll go around you. I'm still I only need 15 minutes of snappiness. And I think Real will go through, but we'll see. It could be like really cagey. Like, Chelsea can't score that much. And Real Madrid, they just have the gear. It'll be, can Mendy handle it? Can Arrizabalaga handle it? Are they playing in these games? Can the younger guys on Chelsea handle it? I mean, it's Christian Pulisic. He's 22 years old. It's Werner. These guys they're babies, right?
Yeah.
Tuchel's a baby. They're in terms of coaching. They don't have the cojones, right? This is Real Madrid. This is when it matters.
I always laugh at the experience thing, right? Because how do you get experience? Right. What? Sort of a chicken and the egg. So absolutely.
But in this case, Real Madrid really do have it, right?
I would say about half of them do, right? Which is more than half
the good half.
I understand. The good half. No, I know. Only the good half. But no, I don't. I think Chelsea goes through. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's because they've got they're
more talented, the
more class, right? And
but when the chances come, and they're going to be very few and far between, who do you trust, Werner or fucking Benzema?
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Who
Chelsea's is right, all right. Let me rephrase that. Chelsea is the favored team, almost definitely. I would think, right, going into this matchup.
I bet it's close. I bet it's evens, if not Real Madrid.
I meant the whole tie, not just tomorrow.
Yeah, and then on the other side, it's PSG, Man City. Man City is favored. Blah 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 blah. If we go by the old basketball idiom, in any of these games, PSG is going to have the 2 best players on the field.
Yeah.
I just, between Mbappe and Neymar, City can do all the pretty passing, all the fucking Kevin De Bruyne passes they want. When the ball drops to Raheem Sterling or the ball drops to Mbappe, who am I going to trust? I swear to God, Raheem Sterling's going to miss half his chances. And without an Aguero, a trusted finisher, you've got to fear City playing well and losing, right? If Bayern Munich can put 35 shots on this team and lose 3-2, what's going to happen to City? This team's PSG is like, we got this. I'm certain of it, right? Like, I'm petrified. Like,
I would be too.
Especially the way Neymar played in the last game. He was incredible. Mbappe's got a goal in him every single time. And City are, it's hard to say a great team the way they have been in England, but they are worse than the sum of their parts versus better than the sum of their parts, right? Like, Spurs for seasons were better than the sum of their parts. And City are always kind of worse than the sum. You're like, why aren't they?
Well, because it's a high floor, right? And so you kind of just sit on the floor on your bad days, essentially. And I mean, they did just play on Sunday, right? I don't know when PSG last played, but I mean,
They played,
that lineup
but
was
it doesn't
pretty
matter,
strong.
right? But their games, I mean, they're playing for this league, but they're like, whatever, I don't give a fuck.
Right. This is the crown jewel that they're missing.
Right,
So,
right. And so with City,
yeah,
it doesn't help that City have 23 good players. They need 3 that are better than your 3. And City's best are not better than, well, De Bruyne's
as good. But all right, let me ask you this. I think De Bruyne's the best player on the field, by the way.
Yeah. No, I understand, but you know what I mean.
I do. I get it. It's at the Parc des Princes, right? It's in Paris.
Yeah, it's in Paris.
Pep Guardiola, take me through what City does to prepare for this game and what the ideal result is for City.
Well, the way City have been playing lately, or most of this season, is a counter to narrative. They're not the high-scoring City of 17, 18, where they could score 100 goals. They, in fact, Spurs scored more goals than City have this season. Mm-hmm. And that's a little-known fact. City's season is built on defense and holding the ball. Now, and that's why we play with no striker. It's so that we can keep the ball and then hope that some of our midfielders get their finishes right. Foden is the best of them, and then De Bruyne and Gundogan, and Sterling is more about creating lots of chances without being able to finish. His goal is volume. He's like, I got to get in front of goal as many times as I can. He had a great game, but he's sort of been out of form. Our ideal front is a 4-3-3, Mahrez, Foden, De Bruyne with Rodri. Bernardo Silva, and who's the other one? I don't even remember.
Gundogan.
And Gundogan, right. Sorry, excuse me.
Wait. Did you? Yeah.
That's my 4-3-3.
Did you say KDB? Did you say
KDB? He's basically, they play the 3 up front and they just float.
Yeah.
No striker, right? Yep. No striker. It doesn't even matter. These are our 6 guys that make up the midfield, basically. And the only one who's designated as an actual sitter is Rodri. Everyone else can be anywhere.
It's just floating. Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the 5 of them, aside from, the 5 of them can play any of the positions around Rodri. And then at the back,
so given what we talked about,
we'll play the defensive grouping. It'll be Diaz, Walker, Stones, and Zinchenko.
I was gonna say it's not Cancelo. Cancelo can't. Can't
defend.
He's not a left-footed player.
No, it'll be Zinchenko. I think Pep trusts him now in a weird way. I think the thing to do is to go back to the Bayern game, to the Dortmund game, and whatever that lineup was, that's the lineup that'll come through. Because strangely, Dortmund are a similar team in that they were on the break and they have the fucking big gun. Right, they've got the bazooka, and Haaland is essentially an Mbappe, basically, but on the other side. So, but I think overall quality, PSG is better. They have Keylor Navas, who is a 3-time Champions League winning goalkeeper who wins you fucking games.
Sure does.
So, I think City will be pleased to get out of this game 1-0 either direction.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean they'd love a 1-1 draw.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Yep,
they'd love an away goal. City do score often. I don't think PSG's defense is great, but again, this is a team that has been fighting. They've gotten through their demons. They fucking beat Bayern. That's not a joke. Now, granted, Bayern didn't have Lewandowski, and there were clear chances that in that first leg they could have lost by 4 goals. But then the home leg, they were really good. And this year, they're getting challenged. Like, it's not a cakewalk. They're none of this like, oh, they haven't had to play a meaningful game in months. They've been playing meaningful games.
They've been getting pushed in Liga, and we talked a little bit about it. So no, I agree. I mean, this is the best iteration of PSG we've seen in some time.
It's the toughest,
and you're right. It's not it's by far the toughest.
No Verratti.
I mean, I think that this is interesting about City too, because it's the most English city, if you will, right? Like it's the hardest city. So it's a very interesting matchup between two of the teams. I think that
we've got a Van Dijk. Like Diaz is legitimately a player of the year level defender. Like, really fucking good.
We didn't even talk about how he had Kane in his pocket all day on Sunday.
He had the whole thing. All those like Son didn't have a chance. That's because Diaz was there.
Yeah,
Diaz is really good. Laporte is iffy. I'm worried about the partnership, but with Diaz there, I'm less afraid. Like
exactly.
If Dejan Lovren can be in a fucking Champions League final, then so can fucking John Stones and Emerick Laporte. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. All right. So that is the Champions League preview. You're going to get us again on Thursday, where we're going to talk to a very sad or very happy Laurent after Wednesday's PSG City matchup in the first leg of the Champions League semifinal. Anything else you got for us, Laurent?
I didn't talk about Nazis. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed.
That's all right. I'll tell you what. We'll talk about something invading France on Thursday.
Hey, there we go. Okay,
very good. Right
We're away. Okay, that was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We do this on Mondays and Thursdays. We are very proud members of the Chopped Network, so thanks for that. Please rate and review the show on whatever podcast platform you use, and we will see